Despite the common misconception that San Diego County is a barren coastal desert, scattered with the occasional palm tree, San Diego is one of the most biodiverse counties in the nation. According to the Nature Conservancy, San Diego County is the most biologically rich county in the continental United States. This land is home to more than 200 species of imperiled plants and animals. With the understanding that culture and beliefs are inherently tied to the surrounding native landscape, the disruption in the natural world has not only threatened plants and animals, but rich cultural traditions and ways of life. The drastic changes in the environment led to further disenfranchisement of the indigenous people who have depended on the biodiversity of this land for thousands of years. The Kumeyaay, Luiseno, Cupeño, and Cahoya people faced not only the invasion of their homeland, but the destruction of the plants and animals that occupied those lands and provided sustenance. The introduction of cattle in the 1770s with the arrival of Spanish missionaries from Mexico resulted in a dramatic change in San Diego's landscape. Native grasses often failed to grow fast enough for bovine consumption, and as a result, non-native grasses and oats were brought in to feed the cows, who in turn spread the seed throughout the countryside. These grasses were able to outcompete the native annuals, who require a longer germination period. In addition to the damage caused by widespread cattle grazing, the sheer force of the hooves stomping packed down the soil and destroyed the cryptobiotic crust. As a result, the next generation of native Californian plants were not able to germinate and sprout, and those that managed to survive were quickly eaten. Another large blow dealt to the local ecosystem was the introduction of Arundo donax, a type of cane from the Canary Islands brought over by the Spanish. Also known as carrizo cane, it provided ample roofing material for adobe homes, but has since taken over many of our waterways, choking out native plants that are vital to the filtration of our streams and rivers. Gradually, Mexican and then American landowners began to fence off portions of land for their cattle. This disrupted the systems of land management that had been practiced by the indigenous societies for thousands of years. Imported crops such as mustard and clover crept deep into the interior of the state. Visitors to California in the 19th century remarked on the rampant spread of these plants. As Auguste Bernard Duat-Silly observed in 1827, we encountered more than one forest of mustard, whose tall stalks were above the riders' heads and made, as it were, two thick walls on the two sides of the way. This plant has become, for some years, a terrible scourge for part of California. It invades the finest pasture lands and threatens to spread over the entire country. Despite the negative impacts these imported plants have had on San Diego's environment, efforts to restore native habitat are taking place all over the county. In addition, tribal members continue to practice and pass on the traditions of their ancestors, and efforts to revive the indigenous languages of San Diego are ongoing.